let go of your daughter?
No, I'm scared. It was very scary. We ran, we heard the one shot and then 4 after, and we just started running, and just all I heard was all these kids running and just screaming and calling their parents, and it was very sad.
As we continue to monitor developments in the Santa Clarita school shooting, we're joined by Dayry Hulkow. She's the primary therapist at Arete Recovery.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I know the Secret Service had just released a report on the school shootings and said that in many cases these shootings are preventable. And I know we've talked about this before, but it's a good time to remind folks, what are the red flags that people should be looking out for?
Like you mentioned, most of these crisis situations could be prevented way ahead. Anything like this came to happen. And some of these warning signs is not necessarily a warning sign for violence or crisis, but it's a warning sign that the person needs help, that there's something going on, that they need attention, intervention, and support, ultimately. Some of these signs, extreme changes in behavior, right? Every person's different. And any sudden changes that's noticed by the school staff or peers or family members is a warning sign. Acting out behaviors, expressed fantasies of aggression or violence, things like that. Also extreme social isolation or difficulties with the peers, interaction. There's a lot of cases of bullying that are going on as well, and some people witness and nothing is reported or said. So those are all warning signs that the person is in distress and may need some kind of help or intervention to prevent things like this from happening.
Well, you bring up bullying, and bullying has been cited as one of the factors in a lot of these school shootings. What can teachers and school administrators be doing to prevent and crack down on bullying?
Observation, staying alert. A lot of this happens over time, repeatedly, and any particular student can be isolated and mistreated, whether verbally, physically. Obviously, cyberbullying is also a thing which social media has had a big influence on it, and there's a lot of witnesses. Sometimes we choose to turn the other way, or just maybe we don't know how to intervene, we don't know who to go to, and it's important that we come together and offer support and offer ways of communicating and expressing, any frustration, pain, suffering, that kind of stuff.
Rudabeh and I were talking about how these kids have grown up with school shootings really, sadly, being a part of life, and they go through these drills. They've been going through these drills since they were much smaller. These kids are now in a high school. Are you, as a therapist, how concerned are you about the mental well-being of these kids, and also how the parents can help them deal with it?
Definitely, this is something that's affecting the community, the schools, the students. Just going through the drills could be a stressful situation, and sometimes preparing to react is not necessarily the best way to go about it. It's obviously necessary to prepare for crisis situations by taking a proactive approach. Maybe having students come together and just share how they're doing, build stronger social support so they can feel comfortable in talking about difficulties and feeling comfortable reporting certain things that may need to be taken care of at a larger level.
Well, that's an interesting topic to feel comfortable reporting it, because I think a lot of kids, even adults in a workplace, they have a fear of retribution or of retaliation if they go to someone and say, I'm being bullied or this person is doing something to me. What do we do about that?
And a big part of that is the social stigma and the fear that comes with certain behaviors, emotions, mental illness. So it's also promoting a lot of judgment, a lot of isolation, a lot of division among students, instead of coming together and just, again, building stronger social support, talking about with people that we have some sort of trust with, that we feel safe with. Obviously, school counselors are a good option. Some teachers are a good option. Family members, older peers within the same school, like having the big brother, big sister kind of programs where they can feel, safe talking to peers that maybe have gone through similar situations. Like, there's a lot of different programs that could be implemented, and a lot of it is already implemented, maybe not utilized to the extent that it should be. Yeah,
communication is so important. Dayry Hulkow with Arete Recovery.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.